Hello everyone, and welcome back to another game of Beyond All Reason, and a match that I've been super excited to bring to you guys. This one's been sitting in my folder for a little while, and it finally got to the top of the list. Today we've got a very, very high-level match of Beyond All Reason on Sector 318C. I always forget that one. Sector 318C. It's a really cool map, and today we get to look at some pros playing the game today. Representing the pros, all the way on the blue side, the eastern side, representing the blue team and spawning as a Cortex commander, already rushing up to the very front lines. It's going to be Ragnar, representing the blue team here with his Viking helmet, going to be showing us what a true top-level Beyond All Reason player has to offer on one of the most exciting maps that I sure love to enjoy. Alien planet world with a whole bunch of diverse flora and fauna, kind of blurring the lines between those two, I suppose. And plenty of reclaim, which is probably what these commanders are going to be a little bit more excited about. Ragnar, though, has his competition cut out for him because spawning on the other side of the map, representing the red team as an Armada commander, it's going to be Mighty Sheep. Mighty Sheep, another fan favorite, one of the commanders that we've seen on this channel a whole lot. One of the long-timers, the old-timers, the pros. Going to be showing us what they have here, going into a vehicle bay already on the back of a whole bunch of economy here. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it really feels like the pros can put up an economy even in the early game a little bit quicker. No? Is that just me? I don't know. I always feel a little bit, a little bit foreshadowed whenever I watch these pro games. It really just highlights exactly how much there is to learn about this game. Every minute little detail. Try to capture it, but sometimes I do let it slip. Oftentimes there are little decisions that each of these pros will make that are incomprehensibly small, but across the board of a game they can really make such a tremendous difference. It really is quite impressive. Either way, some ticks are already out and across the map here for Spooter Friend. 43 true skill. This is the middle level of the red team, and it's 43 true skill. My goodness, what a daunting lobby. Nice little snipe right here. It does manage to take down one of the metal extractors over on this side of the map. And these other ticks aren't done either. Zek also falling under fire right now. There is a metal extractor about to fall. Ooh, it's close. There we go. Metal extractor does go down. One mech's down for the lavender commander here. Another one down for the powder blue player right here. Yeah, these hot pink ticks have done an excellent job of terrorizing the blue team right now. Getting an excellent scout as well before eventually being dealt with. I'm expecting top tier micro right here. And indeed, 7% left on that tick, but it will be enough. Manages to get one more mech before it dies. Also scouts out who's going to be the air player here for the green team. Very nicely done. Already bomber up in the air and across the map here, coming across from autopilot. I guess realizing that with that tick scout, there is enough info here to go for an early bombing run. Either way, though, there is a scout plane actually that was included, so that's quite nice. There is actually an effective scout. Here comes the bomber, though. How much damage can it do? Takes out a metal extractor, damages some of those wind turbines, but doesn't get the kill on them. Fighter over here going to try its very best. There we go. Snipes a whole bunch of wind turbines there as well as some metal extractors. Oh, fighter doesn't manage to kill the bomber. Oh no, it gets one more bombing run right here, and it will shut down all the wind turbines for the green commander as well. Talk about efficient bombing for a single bomber, shutting down parts of the economy of 3 different players right there. Very, very nicely done. That was a very nice play. Arbear now holding the front line. Units holding the southern section right here, making sure there's no run-bys, but it does leave the commander a little bit exposed. This is a solid 11 ticks over here. Not going to be enough to kill this commander, though, with that LLT guarding him. You need about 20 or so to kill a commander on its own, but with an LLT, that number goes up drastically here. Oh, a nice little self-destruct micro there, trying to take out some of the ticks with the metal extractor explosions. Gets a couple of them. 3 of them still survive, though. They're going to go try and terrorize this backline. Ragnar paying attention, though, moves the grunts backwards. Going to try and clean up all these ticks before they manage to do too much damage. Oh, looks like they hit a little bit of an APM stall there. And those will be cleaned up nicely. Very nicely done. I can't cover you, have to go my lane. True. Sabotage over here. The only one on this lane. It's going to be effectively a 2 versus 1 because there's this third player back here. So you have one player on the low ground, or I guess the medium ground, and then you have one player on the high ground over here. And then you have that third player in the back, right? So you don't really have the comfort of that third player here for the blue team. It's a little bit of a intentionally imbalanced map in that sense. That way you can sort of end up with a non-stagnant game, right? It's one of those things that we see similarly. All That Glitters is sort of similarly designed. The same idea where you're designing a map so that the map is intentionally leveraged in such a way that one side will fall, and that'll be the side that eventually determines the match here. Aggravator's out, but there's no res bots here. Oh, I'd love to see the commander moving forward to res some, or to repair some of these rather. Yeah, those Rocketeers are already in overwhelming numbers right here for Amir, and it's going to force the Green Commander back. Sabotai, a little bit late to the party on the rocket bots. Yeah, going to be forced onto the back foot here. That's a rocket bot with some experience, but also not a whole lot of health. Uh-oh, I'm a little worried about it. Resbot is up on the front now. Those Resbots add so much durability to an army, it's really easy to underrepresent how important those Resbots are. They absolutely contribute tremendously to the front line here. Whether it's resurrecting fallen units or whether it's, yeah, just trying to repair up some of the ones that are more brutally damaged here. There we go. Reinforcing the front lines from the front lines. Very, very efficient. Sabotai using the commander actually to push back some of these rocket bots, relieving that pressure from his army, giving time for this Resbot to actually repair some of these units over here. Nicely done. We need to see that one repaired up pretty good too. Little micro decisions, but it can all add up in the end here. Similar engagement on this northern front. Spooter Friend engaging against Luna 777. Both of which trying desperately to gain some sort of advantage here, but there is just more units built up in a big death ball over here for Spooter Friend. Yeah, he's got tons of these pawns. Decides to move them forward, and I think that's the right idea. It's a joint attack right now, as there's a whole bunch of ticks that were moved forward from Kevin, and these pawns moving forward are going to sweep across the rocket bots here. They catch the commander. Luna not paying attention, no D-guns, and down goes the commander right there. That is an excellent kill right here for the hot pink commander. Spooter Friend going to greedily eat up that metal. That is a tremendous advantage right now for the hot pink commander on the red team. That could be a leverage that they could turn into a win right here in the middle of the map. We're going to have to see how that metal gets spent. Right now, we're using it on a forward bot lab. I don't mind that whatsoever. It's going to mean that production comes out a whole lot quicker on the front lines, but it means that we have to get a way more damage done because that is a solid 650 metal, basically half the metal coming out of this commander, going into a laboratory on the front lines. That production has to be worth it here. And I just don't know if we have the economy for it. I mean, there's tons of land that was taken by Spooter Friend. We're going to have to wait and see. Meanwhile, yeah, Mighty Sheep in a lot of trouble here. Went for some static defense. That's a bit of an interesting decision. Going up against vehicles here. Any of the vehicles are going to be able to outrange that laser turret, so I'm not sure if that was exactly the right idea. Well, I guess I say any. The missile trucks won't be able to, but the shell shockers will. The Wolverines will. Basically, any of those high-arcing siege units are going to be able to bombard this area. That being said, there is some dragon's teeth over here. Maybe they look like lurking lightning towers. Oh, there's a dragon's claw, the little hidden lightning tower. Did we see a commander explosion back here? No. Okay, Chisato didn't sacrifice the commander here. Just went for a full-blown energy economy. I don't mind it. You do keep that commander around, and it helps with D-guns around the map. This battle is still ongoing. Yeah, there we go. Those Resbots are now coming out in mass, though. Yeah, now actually on the back foot here, Amir doesn't have as many Resbots, and you can see they lend so much to this front lines right here. Suddenly, the green player overwhelming the orange. Yeah, those Rocketeers are really crumbling quickly here to the forces of the aggravators here by Sabotai. Those Resbots being instrumental in keeping Amir pushed back right now. Is Amir going for T2? No, not quite. Okay, yeah, Amir is actually just losing a lot of metal in this engagement. Probably needs to retreat back to the high ground right here. Really unfortunate to have to do that after setting up a little repair tower over here to try and keep everybody nice and healed up. Commander looking real low, though. Yeah, 22% on that bad boy. And down goes the construction tower. Nice little push by Sabotai. Winning this engagement on the southern side right now. Using the high ground advantage is nice. Not sure if it's going to be enough, though. There's still significantly more units right here for the green commander. Oh, could get a killer D-gun here from Amir. Yeah, I think Sabotai recognized it. Oh, 0% commander health remaining. Yikes. Slowly regenerating health back up, but it's not going to be much, not for a good long while anyways. Resbot's still working on the back over here, trying to resurrect whatever they can. That's nice. Patching together these units as quickly as possible. A single grunt has leaked through, but it's all we need in order to shut down a whole bunch of these metal extractors. One by one, the economy is falling right here for the orange player. And as this push continues going, it just becomes less and less efficient because there's no Resbots on the front. The commander has to retreat. Yeah, this is an absolutely killer push right now by Sabotai. Very, very nicely done by our green commander right here. Yeah, this is sort of stagnated into a little bit of a showdown over here. Mostly just static defense all over the place. Those lightning turrets being very useful, extremely resilient, those lightning turrets. They can be very, very difficult to kill. Big old battle down south here. Bunch of incisors going up against Janices and riot tanks and whistlers and all sorts of basically actually I don't see any riot tanks over here. Just Janices. The Armada riot tank. There are those Wolverines firing away though. You have to be very careful not to keep your army sitting around over there. You can see that metal advantage is tremendous over here, though. The amount of Rocketeers that already Spooter Friend has on the front line Super, super powerful. Oh, interesting. We've transitioned out of the bot lab here into the vehicles. I think that probably makes a little more sense here, especially considering that we already had the bot lab. 2 bot labs in production is not the end of the world, but yeah, going for vehicles, mixing up the composition here a little bit, not going to be the wrong decision, I think. Those medium tanks can certainly lend a whole lot of HP to this composition right here. It's basically the only thing that the bots lack is a sturdy source of HP, although that being said, Centurions are available. Centurions are one of those units that we don't see all too often, but maybe we should see a little bit more often. I just lost a game pretty recently to a killer Centurion push. It was about 12 Centurion, and I had just gotten a T2 lab up. It was a wonderful timing attack, and they completely shut down my entire lab by sending in just, I think it was about 12 Centurion that they'd been building up over time, and it was a complete misread by my fault. Made me have a sudden shift of opinion as far as the Centurion was concerned. Shell Shocker's working away on this, but there's no way one of them is going to be enough here. We're going to need tons and tons of Shell Shockers in order to actually break this down. Yeah, that's going to take a good long while, and I think that's the time that Mighty Sheep is sparing himself, right? Just trying to buy time for the T2 economy to come up and running. You can see production has completely stopped. The laboratory is gone. There's no units coming up right now. This is actually pretty risky for Mighty Sheep, but I think he's convinced that his defenses will hold here. There's lightning turrets. There's the heavy laser tower. There's all these walls here. Zek obviously doesn't have perfect information, so doesn't know exactly what he's going up against. Doesn't know how many of those are lightning turrets, how many of those are walls. So it's very easy to misgauge that, and then suddenly you lose your entire army, and I think that's what he's trying to avoid. Lightning turrets over here putting in overtime work, trying to shut down some of these rocket bots over here, the aggravators. A couple of them still alive over here, though. Hounds are coming out, though. And this is where this battle starts to turn around. So this might actually be a misplay by Sabotai, converging his units forward here. I was looking for the right word. I don't think I quite found it. But anyways, moving his forces forward here. I don't think this is the right decision, because as soon as these T2 come out, and they have already come out, yeah, this is going to start to hurt quite a lot, having these T1 forces on a T2 battlefield. There go the Hounds, firing away at that commander. Hound's extremely dangerous to those T1 units over here. Be it the Rocketeers, be it the Aggravators, be it the Commander, be it basically anything out of the T1 stage. Yeah, those Hounds are going to shred it all apart here, especially in their Gauss mode. Nice micro right here by our yellow Commander, Chisato, who's keeping those Hounds well microed, keeping them in their Gauss mode when they need to be, and then switching them over to their heavier cannons mode whenever you find static units like these, for instance. This is an excellent target for switching over to the heavy cannon. Nicely done. Big old breakthrough on the northern side here. Yep, Ragna has swept through on this northern front over here. The northern line has broken. This is not what was supposed to happen. We were supposed to see the back line here winning this, but Ragna taking full advantage of the fact that he just has enough forces to push through this line, ignoring Rise Heaven, who's up on the front here. Rise Heaven could definitely stem the flow right here and save his team, but I don't think he realizes how crucial that would be to saving all this right here. We need a bunch of LLTs up right now just to try and save all this. Yeah, enough grunts have gotten to the back line, though, and this is a complete kill on the base right here for Kevin. Kevin now wiped out of this game. The single last constructor going to go down right here. Well, I guess there's another one back here, but still, that is a tremendous amount of damage, and it opens up the entire floodgates for Ragna to continue pushing on forward here. Ragna just using that forward T1 bot lab here and pumping out a steady stream of those grunts, using them in just the right spot, though, at just the right time in order to open up the floodgates here. Our Baron going to be able to push on through as well, using some of those units. Looks like there was a little bit of a run by over here. Eventually got cleaned up. Yeah, southern side. Still being pushed back by those T2 units. We need Sabotage to make a quick transition into T2. It looks like we have the T2 economy coming up. No lab producing anything right now. Essentially, Sabotage is trading out the positional advantage that he had over all this area for a T2 lab. And I don't think that's the wrong decision here. I think that's probably the best of a tricky circumstance. Right now, though, all Sabotage has to do is hold on. Commander kill. Imminent. Yeah, Mighty Sheep landing right in the middle of all these units over here. Although that being said, the Shuriken putting in a tremendous amount of work, actually, allowing this commander to fight this fight. Looked like all hope was lost, but apparently not the case here. Forward T2 lab comes up for Mighty Sheep. Okay. Rattlesnake also up. Going to be firing away here. Proper T2 static defense. Going to be quite nice. Yeah, those grunts, though, that were leaking in from the top, very annoying to deal with. Most of them go down, but there is still one hero grunt over here blasting away. Yeah, that's tricky to deal with. Very, very annoying. Eventually it takes care of itself right here. But suddenly with this opening, this is going to be very, very annoying for the, the red team to try and push through here with. Rise Heaven. Not very many units on the field here. Has 2 labs, but not enough production to really pump out units from either of them. Actually, looks like it's a build power issue that we have right now. This, I see. Yeah, this construction turret is locked onto this, but it doesn't have enough range to actually contribute over there. That is unfortunate. A little bit of wasted build power right there. Looks like Rise Heaven going for the trade here, and they will get it as long as they don't disengage right now. Well, you know what? Those LLTs are going to contribute a whole lot here. The trade will still commence, though, and that's going to be 2 commanders going down right there. Our Baron traded out for Rise Heaven, but I really don't think that move is going to save the red team on the southern side. There are welders coming up, and Ragnar's commander is going to be forced off the line here by all these grunts. Nice D-guns right there, though. Carving out some of those before they manage to hit the commander. Commander should back up against the wall right there. Still, though, probably more than enough, damage done on that commander. I think these welders are going to be able to finish the mission here. 15%, there he goes. He backs up against the wall, cloaks his commander, takes a missile hit. Yeah, it's tricky. Very tricky. Oh, I think that... There he goes. Yep, Ragnar's commander goes down to those welders. They're very tricky to deal with. Couple of lightning tanks breaking through over here. Mighty Sheep trying to keep the aggression high and actually doing a great job of it. Yeah, these lightning tanks are going to be more than enough to break the line over here. We need to focus down that beamer. Oh, that beamer turret. Getting some tremendous value out. Okay. Wow. Will it live? Oh, there's no way. Wow, the hero beamer turret. Silver Star General already. We do have a engagement over here as well. Is the volume a little low? I feel like the volume might be a little low. There we go. Still messing with audio settings all over the place. No, that's a little too high. There we go. Yeah, that's about right. Still messing with the audio settings. Yeah, it's for those of you that have been tuning in for the streams, you're already well aware of that. Tuesdays and Saturdays, by the way. Might actually have to change that schedule coming up, but I'll have a whole announcement about that. So stay tuned to the Brightworks Discord channel. Link to that, of course, is down in the description, in case you'd like to join up. Nice use of landmines over here. Oh, actually, yeah, those landmines doing great work. Shutting down a whole bunch of those bots over here. Oh, yeah, gonna connect with some of those T2 bots as well. That hurts pretty bad. Scorpion turret coming up here, but it's not quite completed yet. There's one in the base, though, already. So that'll be quite nice. We don't have any LLTs or anything to take care of these little units, though, so the Scorpion turret's going to kind of be wasted. Yeah, trying to fire away at a lot of the T1 trash. There we go. LLT finally comes up to take care of the ticks. It's much more its speed. Scorpion turret doing some excellent work, though. Firing away at all these units. Whittling them down one by one. I think there's eventually just going to be too much, though. Down goes the Scorpion turret. That was basically all that there was left as far as base defense goes right here. Yeah, that's Tag Zelo being wiped out right now. Gonna be a battle of the north versus the south right here. Bunch of fiends pushing in here. They find a bunch of medium tanks. That's not going to be nearly enough to stop all them. T2 Constructor finally starts up a T2 economy, but there's nothing here to stop all of these fiends that are going to be running on by. Rise Heaven is already a dead man walking. This is a complete sweep over here on the northern sector. Northern section, I should say, of Sector 318C. I feel like it's such an appropriate name for a map like this. Just definitely feels like some sort of sci-fi planet that was found and then labeled. And eventually these Cortex and Armada commanders both found it again in the archives and decided it was time to go conquer it. Bunch of landmines being set up all over the place. I love to see it. I feel like landmines are underutilized, so I'm glad to see that the pros have started to incorporate them more into their gameplay here, using them as sort of a strategic last line of defense sort of a thing. Just take off a couple of units from any sort of push that makes it a little further than you'd expect it to. Yeah, it's quite nice. This is a dangerous push right here. We have Chisato's forces moving in with the Emirs, moving in with Spooter Friends. Basically everybody converging on the southern side right now, trying desperately to sweep across this face. They know that they're basically on a clock right now as their northern front is melting away to fiend fire. Yeah, if this can go down, if we can take down production, and if we can sweep across this, this is going to be really, really difficult for the blue team to close out right here as they lose a whole bunch of their production. You know, Ragna has definitely pulled rabbits out of hats before, though. This area is well fortified. We have tons of scorpion turrets. We have tons of plasma spitters, persecutors, otherwise known as. Very, very dangerous. Full-blown T2 production, though, coming out of the top right-hand corner of the map. Yeah, that's going to be TX-55, trying desperately to pump out T2 units, enough to shut down this whole T1 army. Nice deployment of construction turrets over here, by the way. There's a, yeah, Hercules carrying around a construction turret to put it down and eat up a whole bunch of metal. Love to see that. That's so creative. I feel like, yeah, we hardly ever see that sort of a usage of those construction turrets. That's really lovely. Very nicely done. Meanwhile, ticks are running on through on this northern front over here. The Fiend Ball, finally freed by, I'm guessing, fighters that went over in that direction. Gonna finally start moving on down in this direction. They sweep away a whole bunch of the wind turbines over here that were available for Kevin. That's gonna knock out even more of his power grid right here. Poking holes in the power grid, as they would say in the Cyberpunk intro cinematic. That's been a fun one to be been playing recently. Played that a couple times on stream. It's my backup game. Tag Zelo, using the commander for a little bit of vision over here. Love this construction tower eating up all the wreckage over here. That's so cute. And it gets out too. Very, very injured rather. Whole lot of danger, but it does get out, and so I guess it's going to be able to eat up even more of this wreckage. Nicely done. Mighty Sheep sending out a fleet of forces as well to eat up all this, though. Yeah, those Resbots eating up as much of this as possible here. Massive reclaim command trying to eat up everything that they possibly can. Fiend production coming up and running now for the green player Sabotai. Still holding on in his corner, trying desperately to try and, yeah, evade defeat here. There we go. Landmines, again, being very useful over here. Twitchers, I always forget that Twitchers can put landmines together, but they are a combat engineer, so yeah, they can put those landmines up and running. Always lovely to see. Razorback out here for Tagada. Blasting apart a lot of these fiends as well as those grunts with brutal efficiency, carving through that army. Twitchers over here, throwing together an entire portable base. I'm pretty happy about it. I think those Twitchers are quite powerful. Yeah, they throw up a whole bunch of construction turrets to patch each other up. They can always repair as well, by the way. I'm sure Ragna is well aware of that fact. More so for you and I to know than Ragna, I'm sure, who's well aware of that. Mammoth slowly but surely making its way forward here. Mammoth's essentially the cornerstone of any slow-moving but impenetrable Cortex defense. Oh, there's so much static defense coming up over here. I wonder if it's going to be worth it. Sabotai essentially impervious to all but the strongest of T3 attacks, and well, the strongest of T3 marching its way across the map right now. Chisato definitely looking to close out this game with this Razorback over here. It's unsupported though. I mean, I guess there's the ticks over here, so that's quite nice. Being blasted apart by those Sabo turrets, and yeah, the Razorback decides it's probably not best to walk over where all those Sabo turrets are. And I think that's probably a good idea here. I think if you wanted to come back in this game, I think Sabotai definitely needs to just eco like a madman right now. Just go for full-blown T2 economy. Try and get as much eco running as possible and get into T3 production. Try and use whatever reclaim they can find to get a leverage on all of that. Yeah, the blue team managing to hold for now. The red team also likewise holding as well. Both teams looking for some sort of an opening right here. The Razorback trying to express some sort of an advantage right through the map. The middle of the map, that is. Fiends are caught by the Razorback over here. Big old grunt wave, covered by a bunch of trashers just to make sure the Shuriken can't shut it down. Razorback gonna be more than enough over here. Yep. Oh, there goes tons and tons of units in that composition right there. Completely shut down. Fiends also coming across over here. Gotta be careful with those Fiends. They explode when they die. Really easy to overextend with those Fiends, and then suddenly, yeah, you still manage to take out a base just because they die on death. They explode on death, that is. Persecutor up here on the hillside, firing away at whatever it can. It's quite nice. Trying its very best to, anyways. There's something going on over here. That guy's never moving. Never moving ever again. Yeah, that Persecutor up on that hillside, though. Doing a lot of damage, actually. Okay, quite nice. Taking out some of those ambassadors at the very least. Not a bad idea. The ambassadors are stealthed, so there's no radar signature for them, so that's why this Persecutor isn't actually firing at any of them. It cannot see them. You need a line of sight in order to reveal it. Big old grunt wave pushing forward right now. Trasher's trying to come over to protect from the Shuriken, but they're not quite in position right now, and so the Shuriken are going to shut down a whole lot of these grunts. Ooh. Just barely does that Pitbull manage to save the day over here. Shuriken coming in to paralyze those grunts before they can kill all that. Oh my goodness. Pulsar also firing away. A little bit of overkill on that, I feel. Oh, you know what? I just realized there's a setting I forgot to toggle. Gotta go fix that after this match. Slowly but surely, building our way back towards functional cast works here. Yeah, full-blown T3 gantry up and available right now for Mighty Sheep, though. Slowly but surely pushing forward over here. Fiends underway as well. Bunch of Twitchers putting together Fiends. I like to see it. It's one of those things that I feel like we don't see these, don't see combat engineers do nearly enough these days, building their associate units. Part of that is because consoles were nerfed so heavily. And I'm not here to say that I think it was a bad idea to nerf the console. I think it probably was well-deserved. But, you know, as an Armada player, I have to at least admit that I miss my hounds. I miss having them on speed dial. Risky to go for a T3 gantry this far forward. Leaves you very vulnerable to things like bombing, for instance, where bombers don't have to travel nearly as far across enemy territory in order to shut all that down. Could leave you with a very expensive hole to fill. Razorback pushing forward now. Yeah, it looks like Mighty Sheep wants to end this. He's sending the Razorback forward, knows that it's about time to close this match out here. Try and use some of that T3 power to good use. Bunch of T1's fighters clashing in the air. Feels pretty late in the match here for T1 fighters to be fighting. There we go. Razorback finally locks onto the Mammoth here. Mammoth incredibly sturdy, but there's only so much you can do against 4 bull tanks, a Razorback, and, well, another Razorback on the way over here. Those landmines, though, doing some excellent work. Whoa, yeah, those hit pretty hard. It's about 30% off one of those tanks, 40% off maybe. Very nicely done. Catching that T2 Constructor, also very nice. Going to mean that these, yeah, expansions here, the recovery expansions that have been going up all over the place here, going to be slowed down quite a lot. Yeah, this is a dangerous Razorback strike force here. ZLO is in position to degun them should they choose to go towards the base of Luna 77, or 777. Twitcher's still throwing up those landmines. Nice use of those landmines, I think. A couple of those pop-up Sabo turrets also firing away. Razorback decides to just jump on top of it. Tanking for the bulls. Construction turrets patching it together, though. Oh, yeah, the construction turrets managed to keep it all together. Sabo turrets blasting apart all the T3. Shiva contributing AoE firepower as well, and that's going to be all of that T3 going down right there. Oh, that's expensive. Yeah, Mighty Sheep letting out an exclamation of detest as, yeah, all of his strike force right there was shut down. And this is nice. Big old bombing run coming in here. Single T2 fighter has engaged. We're going for the lab as well as the fusion reactor over here. The lab goes down, so that's quite nice, but it's only the T1 lab. Unit production didn't go down, though. None of those build turrets got killed. Not what we're looking for. Another Razorback over here, trying desperately. Push on this northern side also dealt with quite nicely. Mighty Sheep building a massive static defense over here. Yeah, we've got pit bulls, we've got LLTs, we've got basically everything to handle a pretty diverse set of units over here. Sheldon are going to be pretty good for tearing all this apart. There's no rattlesnakes or anything like that to do any long-range damage, so that's quite nice. I think eventually, yeah, TX-55 is going to find themselves in a decent enough position here. The green push. The static defense push has actually been working out pretty well here. It feels like, anyway. Yeah, Persecutor firing away now. A couple of these Sabo turrets firing all over the place. The thing is, you can push into this and you can peel back the layers of this, but there's no way you're going to push through all of this without losing a significant amount of army over here. Here's a Razorback that's going to go ahead and try. There you go. You can see it's about 7% or so that each one of those missiles takes off. Maybe even more with the, oh yeah, the surround bonus doing double damage. Yeah, that's going to be a lot going off of that Razorback's health pool right there. And there you go. That's exactly why nobody's going to be able to push in through here. Looks like we are going up to that full-blown T2 economy at this point. With the static defenses essentially contributing to the front line, I wonder if these fiends are essentially just a waste of metal. I mean, it's nice to have them, don't get me wrong. They're also an excellent cleanup crew in case anything should leak on through. But I think continued production of those is really going to become an issue here. Fat Boy firing away over here. Trying to shut down this bulwark. Yeah, actually, I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to be able to, yeah. Bulwark getting just 1% more HP every time that it fires here, so Bulwark will come up before the Fat Boy is able to shut it down, which is quite funny. Yeah, suddenly this is looking quite dangerous right now. Pitbull gets shot apart. Yeah, Fiend's now running forward, also going to reveal a lot of these units, giving line of sight. Gunship's going to shoot down all the rest of it, but that's already been dealt with by a bunch of Trashers making their way over in this direction as well, shutting everything down. Big old Fiend wave rushing forward, though, to try and break this static defense line here. Not sure if that was really necessary, though. I think breaking that static defense line sort of leaves open the... It sort of brings attention to this area, if you get what I mean. You're now... Everybody's looking at this area, seeing if it needs reinforcements. Might make this a whole lot more difficult to hold right here for the green player. I like this over here. We do have a bunch of construction turrets throwing together Fiends on the front lines. Boy, that looks like a prickly area to try and push through, though. Big fighter wave being sent forward now. It's a lot of T1 fighters. It's a big mixed composition, I guess, of T1 and T2 fighters. Dragons also marching across the map. Well, hovering across the map, I should say. Those VTOL thrusters carrying them away. Big fighter swarm keeping them safe, though. Very nicely done. Yeah, these dragons have free reign to melt apart the T3 units right now. Excellent play there by Chisato. These dragons are not, they're not cheap. 20,000 metal of dragons right here for 4 of them. But for what it's worth, you get a menacing composition right here. Is it a composition? I mean, I guess it's a force. Maybe force is the right word. Very nice. And suddenly we're going to need a whole lot of anti-air defense. Yeah, flak turrets come up here. I'm not sure if those are going to finish in time. There's a flak turret up here on the high ground. These dragons are moving in for the base. You need a lot of flak to shoot dragons down in time. Don't think it's going to happen. Yep. There go the dragons. Melting apart this base. They're going to lock onto that advanced fusion reactor. That is not a comfortable situation to be in. Boom goes all the hard work right there for the green commander. Oh, that hurts. Sabotai now completely sent back to the Stone Ages right here. Going to have to rebuild up on this front line over here. Starting up a fusion reactor immediately. Love to see that. Wouldn't mind seeing a constructor maybe head back and start reclaiming the old base. Use the metal over there. Razorback's also marching through now that the static defenses have been mostly melted away. But it's not going to matter. These dragons don't really have a good counter over here. There's a bunch of flak turrets being built in a chain. It's still not enough, though. Yep, you need a ridiculous amount of flag turrets, or realistically, you just need planes. Another one's going to get shot down here, but I think that one's strong enough. It will take out the advanced fusion reactor. Oh, and there goes the air player, completely out of the match now. Greg eliminated. The advanced fusion reactor pops, all of the production pops. The T2 laboratory pops as well. That's going to be a long recovery period here for the Dark Green Commander. That was quite a nice little snipe right there for those dragons. What an economy back here, by the way. Can I just say. Massive energy production right here. Overflowing tons and tons of energy to the team. Probably going to be well utilized by basically everybody across the board over here. The red team feels like they're encroaching. But the T3 does hold for now. Mammoth slowly pushing forward. They're the kings of the slow push. Flak turret's also wonderful here. We're starting up trashers as well. Basically any kind of anti-air that we can afford at this point. I want every gun we have pointed up at the skies. Essentially what Ragna is saying right now. Using those twitchers to such an advantage right now. It really blows my mind how wonderful those twitchers have been this whole game. From landmines to double LLTs to building all sorts of persecutors and construction turrets, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, those things have been extremely, extremely useful. Big bundle of twitchers over here. Being instrumental to the success right now for Ragna. Very, very nicely done. That's what I love about watching these pros. They have such a complete mastery over their units and their kit. Makes for a very exciting playstyle. These mammoths extremely tough. Going to take more than a couple of dragons to melt through them. There's also all this anti-air now available. Yeah, those dragons are going to melt away. No pun intended. Down they go. For what it's worth, though, they can still put out a tremendous amount of damage before they go down. They have enough HP to melt across some of those, melt down the armor on some of those mammoths. Still, though, it's uncomfortable to hover that many expensive planes right over all that anti-air, even if it is just T1 anti-air. Twitcher's also thrown up flak turrets in the back, a little further back off the front line, so that's quite nice. But this push has completely resolved here. Yeah, those mammoths are going to be more than enough to break the lines. Spooderfred now eliminated from this match as well. That's the hot pink commander going down. Mighty Sheep trying to use the commander and T2 constructor here to build a whole bunch of pit bulls. Not sure if the pit bulls are going to be enough, especially against this mammoth composition. It's a slow but steady composition. Very powerful to say the very least. Vanguard here trying its best. A little bit out of position. The Vanguard is not meant as a assault unit. Down it goes. It's a very expensive siege unit. Thor here probably a little bit better suited to the task. Tagsy Low flying the commander in. Got to be careful. There's a lot of fighters flying around over here. Wants to eat up some of that juicy metal though. EMP missile flies away. Does connect with two of those mammoths. That's quite nice. Shuts down some of those. I love whenever we see a commander use the EMP missile. I talk about it all the time, how I feel like the EMP missile is, yeah, underutilized. Always makes me happy to see one of those. Thor's resistant to EMP here. These spybots are trying to get a connection with the Razorback. Ooh, and they do. Nice stun on that Razorback. Going to be taken out for 16 seconds there, or more. There's another spybot over here. Oh. Well. Trying to repair the Razorback over here. That's quite funny. The slow siege. Shiva finally marching on the base right here for Mighty Sheep. And it looks like suddenly Mighty Sheep is all out of steam. Pulsar not able to keep up with this many Shiva firing away all at once here. Maybe if we had the shield generators here and we could deflect some of those plasma shots, but even then those missiles would still be firing away. It would be quite difficult to deal with. Yeah, this looks like a devastating push right here for the red players. So all this fortification on the northern section essentially unutilized. It was necessary to hold back that push, but it was basically at the end of the game unutilized just because of you know, I say that right as some units run by. Just a couple of grunts though. I can't help but wonder if maybe some of that eco or some of that resource could have been put into eco and changed the tide of this battle here. Would have been at least a couple thousand, but maybe it would have made a difference. Either way, there go the fusion reactors. Plural. Quite a few fusion reactors back here. I do the same thing oftentimes. I feel like I rely heavily on fusion reactors before transitioning into those advanced fusion reactors. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to figure out when you have enough resources to go for an advanced fusion reactor. Typically the answer is between 2 to 3 fusion reactors, but sometimes the complications of war can make things a little more murky. Razorbacks eventually cleaned all this up, and actually that's a lot of metal lying on the floor right here. It's possible that we could recover. Certainly send some units out. Little fortification zone over here. With the loss of the base, we've decided to just go full-blown into holding our line over here. Yeah, that plasma dome's going to keep a lot of this safe here. There's also an advanced armed exploiter over here. Going to be quite nice. This base is completely gone, though. The air player wiped out of this game right here. Chisato now left controlling 1, 2, 3 bases. Full-blown T3 army. It's going to take a lot more APM to manage all this than suddenly, or than previously expected. Thor over here blasting away waves of grunts. Always satisfying to watch Thors at work. Vanguard also quite nice. I feel like with Vanguard, you basically just want to park them somewhere. I feel like they're essentially just a mobile static defense. AKA a unit. But seriously though, I feel like they're best if you just park them somewhere, because when they're moving around like this, they have a really hard time acquiring targets and they can't fire all too often. I feel like if you park them, then it means that they can fire at least a little bit more often. I don't know. Clearly Chisato under a little bit of pressure here. For what it's worth though, an excellent hold on the right hand side by Sabotage. Still sticking in this game even after total devastation over here. Does get the advanced fusion reactor resurrected, so that's quite nice. It's going to be a lot of energy coming back, and that slider just moved on down. Yeah, starting up these advanced energy converters is going to be quite nice here. Question is, how do we finish out this game? Well, you've already taken out the air player, so I feel like going for a big old bombing run wouldn't be the end of the world. The problem was the air player for the green team also got eliminated here, so still trying to build up a bombing run after recovering the economy here. Very, very tricky to pull off. Yeah, Shiva firing away at these Razorbacks over here. If the Razorbacks group up like that, the Shiva are going to have a field day. If the Shiva group up and the Razorback can get a nice surround, Razorback are going to have a field day. Basically, this comes down to who can manage to control their composition a little bit better. Oh, the Vanguard is marching forward, though. Oh, no. Not where the Vanguard wants to be. Oh, down goes those expensive T3 units. 3,300 metal for each one of those Vanguards. Not what we want to see right there. Yeah, Vanguard are not meant as a frontline unit. They're definitely a siege unit for sure. Base pops over here. Oh, there was a bombing run underway. Oh, okay. Well, I missed it a little bit. I do apologize for that. But yeah, there was a nice little bombing run right there, taking out one of Chisato's production facilities. That was only a scratch on the surface of the economy, though. There's, yeah, quite a few APHISes back here. Let's see what the total count is. 18 advanced fusion reactors. I guess no reason to stop. Yeah, we're starting up more and more production over here as well. Going to start a T1 spamulatory. We're going to start up a couple more T2 production facilities for those aircraft. Basically start getting everything underway. But eventually, I feel like Chisato's going to run up against the unit count limit. Yeah, we're starting to have some problems here. Going for a last minute, sort of a desperation Ragnarok, or a calamity rather here. Trying desperately to get something up to turn the tides of this battle. Can this even reach far enough to do any damage though? Not really. It can wipe out all this production facility up on the northern side. Might be able to, with a lucky shot or 2 or 3 or 4, be able to scratch up the base here for Ragna up north. Could probably do some damage over here as well, but that's only 3 base kills, and there's still about 4 bases, well no, 3 bases after that it's not going to be able to kill over here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it'd be enough. Certainly a powerful defensive tool. If we wanted to shoot down any of those heavy T3 units, we can melt those apart pretty quickly here. But it's not like that's exactly what we're interested in at this point in the game. We really need to find some sort of win condition to express. Titan blasting away over here at this static defense. Yeah, Bulwark goes down. Nicely done. Gonna be pretty difficult here for this Titan to break the rest of this, though. It's up on that high ground. Pretty much killer positioning. Advanced Geo, very obvious target right there. Would certainly be worth trying to detonate. Stupendous control by Chisato, managing so many of these armies all over the place here. Looks like this area is broken. Looks like it took a lot of units, though. I see dead Shivas and Razorbacks and all sorts of other stuff, not to mention all the stuff that's been reclaimed already by Resbots and Twitchers and all sorts of stuff. Quite nice. I guess in the end, it bought a lot of time for this eco to continue churning out metal over here. These advanced metal extractors certainly have paid for themselves by now. I actually like this little stream of units being pumped out right here. There's a lot of open space right now that actually is extremely exploitable right here for the, well, for the red team to exploit, but against the blue team here, basically the entire middle of the map is completely wide open. There's T3 unit production, but the T1 units can just run on by. Oh, it looks like this area is broken as well over here. The Razorback army was sent out at this point. Tagata ready to continue breaking this line over here. Very expensive. You can see a lot of those Razorbacks and even a Titan have been brought down, but eventually that T3 is going to break it all. Ticks being instrumental in shutting a lot of this down here too. Being the vision that these units need in order to, yeah, actually successfully push in here. Oh, why were those? The defenses were not targeting the low health Razorbacks right there. That's unfortunate. More and more Scorpion turrets coming up all over the place. But it's not the Razorback, it's not the Titan that you have to fear. It's the humble LLT that will get in your gears and gum up your machines with the blood in its boots. It will be the gum that sticks to your boots that halts you from taking your next step, that gets you killed by a laser rifle from a guardsman at 500 paces. And eventually those ticks, mixed in with all of this other composition here, that's a 0 HP Razorback, are gonna break the entire line right there. Brute forcing his way all the way down the line right here into Sabotai's innermost quarters here. But eventually it's going to fold the Green Commander in on itself, the light Green Commander, the lime Green Commander. Titan's the name of the game over here. Titans are EMP-able though. Oh, Spybot connections could be huge. Yep. Nice Spybot connections right there. Do pop on those Titans, rendering them completely EMP'd right here for at least another 10 seconds or so. Going to mean that those Titans get a whole bunch of free damage put out on them without being able to retribute at all. Very nicely done. Yeah, that's going to be at least a Titan going down right there, if not two. Continued EMPs over here from something. Maybe there's another Spybot that was detonated. Nice catch right there. It's very expensive. 13,500 metal and make it double trouble. Down go the Titans. Really nice catch right there. Shuts down a significant portion of the army, at the very least allocated up in that direction. Here comes the bombing run though. T2 fighters coming in. There's a lot of fighters available right here for the Yellow Commander though. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Chisato very well aware of the danger. He only had to be bombed once before he learned his lesson. Titan's going to be instrumental in shutting all this down, but those Shiva are definitely getting dangerously close. Anti-air bots over here firing away at whatever they can. Love to see it. 1,000 little crossbows firing up into the air all at the same time. That's a lot of Titans right here for Tagata. Are these being handed over right now? Are they being produced? Oh, they might be under production. Could also be that there's a lot of metal being handed over, a lot of energy rather being handed over here by Chisato. Would love to see these eco continued to be expand. It's difficult to do. You start to run up against a space issue. There we go. Calamity does come up and running. This is a little bit better of a position here. Yeah, I like this quite a bit more. It's going to be able to fire into the base over here. It's going to be able to fire into the base of the purple player. Down goes a whole bunch of those wind turbines right off the bat. Titans blasting away over here. Oh, that's a satisfying sound. Enter our cinematic cam right here. Watching these Titans rumble their way across the map right there. Oh, there we go. Try to, anyway. Sometimes it's a little glitchy. Yeah, the Calamity is becoming an issue. All the build power has gone down over here. That's so inconvenient. Once that build power goes down, it's really, really difficult to try and hold on. Suddenly you just can't get anything done. This is the brute force method to a T. Pull a lot of metal in units, and just no hope of ever having enough static defense to shut all this down. You would need otherworldly amounts of static defense in order to render all this inert. So indeed, once more, the Dark Green Commander will fall here. Calamity about to pop the advanced fusion reactors over here as well for Luna 777. Shield generator trying its very best. Oh, we actually changed targets just in the nick of time. Does the Yellow Commander have any scouting info? That base over here. Doesn't see the base. Sees all the static defense over there, but hasn't seen the base. Unfortunate. Don't think it's going to matter, though. Yeah, indeed. The blue team realizes that with that Calamity in play, there's really not going to be a whole lot they can do. No base is safe, and they decide that it's time to tap out of this game. What a back and forth. Really couldn't have called that one. We were still 38 minutes into that game, and I still couldn't tell who was actually winning that one. Excellently played by Chisato, managing to eke out a phenomenal economy and managing it all tremendously. What a massive headache to try and keep all the T1, the T2, and the T3 all squared away, and managing to do it all. It's pretty impressive. Very nicely done to all our commanders who played today. Thanks a ton to you as well for watching. Oh, look at that graph. And I will see you in the very next Beyond All Reason video. Peace out, folks.